Lesson 12, page 112. Rip Van Winkle by Washington Irving. Let's start. Washington Irving, born in 1783 and died 1859, was an American author, essayist, biographer, and historian of the early 19th century. He is best known for his short stories like Rip Van Winkle and The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Full stop. His historical works include biographies of George Washington, Christopher Columbus, and the Prophet Muhammad. Full stop. The present story is an adaptation of the original short story. Let's share. Number 1. Match column A with column B. In column A, morning, afternoon, midnight, noon. Column B, playing, sleeping, in the school, studying. Number 2. You may sleep longer than you usually do when A. You are idle, B. You are tired. Discuss with your partner and choose the appropriate alternative. Page 113. Let's read. In a village among Catskill Mountains, there lived a simple, good-natured fellow called Rip Van Winkle. Full stop. The children of the village loved him. He assisted at their sports and made their playthings. Full stop. He also taught them to fly kites and shoot marbles and told them stories. Full stop. Rip helped everyone in their work but could not keep his own farm in order. Full stop. His fences fell to pieces. His cows strayed. Weeds grew in his fields. Full stop. His wife complained about his idleness. His son Rip inherited his habits. His sole follower was his dog Wolf. Rip used to sit and talk with his friends on long summer days. Full stop. Nicholas Vedder, the landlord of the village inn, was Rip's good friend. Rip had to leave this group eventually as his wife complained that his friends encouraged his idle habits. Poor Rip was reduced among wool almost to despair. Full stop. He started walking away into the woods with Wolf. Full stop. On one of these days, Rip had gone high up the Catskill Mountains. Full stop. From there, he looked down into a deep and dark valley. Full stop. Evening was gradually advancing. Full stop. He felt that he should return home. Full stop. As he was about to go down, he heard a voice from the distance calling, Rip Van Winkle, Rip Van Winkle. Page 114. What next? Assisted means helped. Strayed, moved away aimlessly. Sole only, in a place of shelter. Bhul, a place of shelter. Let's do Activity 1. Activity 1. Rearrange the following sentences in the correct order and put the numbers in the given boxes. Number 1. Rip had to leave his group eventually. Number 2. On one of these days, Rip had gone high up to the Catskill Mountains. Number 3. Rip used to sit and talk with his friends. Number 4. He heard a voice from the distance calling, Rip Van Winkle, Rip Van Winkle. Number 5. His wife complained that his friends encourage his idle habits. Full stop. Number 6. Poor Rip was reduced almost to despair. Activity 2. Fill in the blanks with words from the help box. There is one extra word. Rip dash children at their sports. Full stop. He always helped others in their dash his wife dash about his idle habits. Full stop. One day Rip went dash up the Catskill Mountains. Full stop. Help box. Hi, complained, assisted, encouraged, work. Activity 3. Answer the following question. How do you think Rip felt when he heard a voice from the distance calling? Page 115. Let's continue. He saw a strange figure slowly coming up the rocks. Full stop. He carried something heavy on his back. Coming closer, Rip saw a short old man with thick bushy hair and a beard. Full stop. He made signs for Rip to assist him with the load. Full stop. Always helpful, Rip did so. They came to a round hollow surrounded by trees. On a level spot in the center, he saw a most unusual crowd of people playing at ninepins. Full stop. They looked peculiar. Full stop. One had a large head, broad face, and small piggish eyes. Full stop. The face of another seemed to consist entirely of nose. They all had beards of various shapes and colors. Full stop. They were enjoying themselves, yet were silent. Full stop. They looked at Rip with a fixed, statue-like gaze. Full stop. His companion, it seemed, was carrying some liquid in a keg of his back. Page 116. This was unloaded and everyone drank from the keg. Full stop. Rip was fearful at first. After a while his fear subsided. Full stop. Feeling thirsty, he had several drinks himself. Full stop. Slowly his eyes closed. Full stop. He fell into a deep sleep. On waking, he found himself on a high hill where he had first seen the old man. It was a bright sunny morning. The birds were twittering among the bushes. Surely, thought Rip, I have not slept here all night. He whistled for Wolf, but no dog was to be seen. He decided to visit the scene of last evening. When he reached the spot, he was surprised to see that a mountain stream was now flowing through it. What was to be done? The morning was passing away and poor Rip was hungry. He shook his head and went homeward. As he came near his village, he met many people he had never seen before. This surprised him, as he thought he knew everyone around his village. Full stop. They all stared at him with surprise. Rip suddenly noticed that his beard had grown a foot long. He saw his village was now larger, with more people. There were rows of houses which he had never seen before. Strange names were over the doors. He found his own house was empty and in ruins. He called loudly for his wife and children. All was silence. The village inn was gone. What next? 9 pins. A game where 9 pins that look like bottles are used. Gaze, look steadily at something. Subsided, became less intense. Page 117. Let's do. Activity 4. Write T for true and F for false statements in the given boxes. Give supporting statements for each of your answers. A. The stranger wanted to assist Rip. B. All the strangers had beards. C. Rip felt very thirsty. D. Rip saw that his village had become smaller. Activity 5. Answer the following questions in complete sentences. A. How did the stranger look? B. What happened after Rip had drunk the liquid? C. Why was Rip surprised when he came near the village? D. What did Rip suddenly notice? Page 118. Let's continue. The appearance of Rip with his long beard and peculiar dress soon attracted the attention of people. Full stop. Rip told them that he meant no harm, but merely came there to look for his friends and folks. He asked about Nicola's weather. There was silence for a little while. Then an old man replied, Nicola's weather? Why, he is dead and gone for these 18 years. Rip's heart died away at finding himself thus alone in the world. He cried out, Does nobody here know Rip Van Winkle? Oh, there he is, leaning against the tree, exclaimed 2 or 3. As he looked, Rip saw a fellow who looked exactly like his previous self. He understood that this was his son Rip. Just then, a young woman with a child came his way. She said that Rip Van Winkle had been her father and had gone away 20 years back when she was little. All stood amazed. An old woman looked at his face and exclaimed, Sure enough, it is Rip Van Winkle. Welcome home again, old neighbor. Why, where have you been these 20 long years? Soon everyone came to know Rip's story, for the whole 20 years had been to him but as one night. Full stop. Some had doubts and insisted that Rip had been out of his head. Even to this day, a thunderstorm on a summer afternoon at Catskill reminds them of strange people playing at a game of 9 pins. Page 119. Word nest. Merely means hardly. Previous means that what had happened before. Let's do. Activity 6. Fill in the following chart with information from the text. এখানে দুটো কলাম আছে, একটিতে কজ এবং একটিতে এফেক্ট। Number 1, cause Rip had a long beard and wore a peculiar dress. Effect লিখতে হবে। Number 2, cause লিখতে হবে, effect Rip's heart died away. Number 3, cause Rip saw a fellow who looked exactly like his previous self. Effect লিখতে হবে। Number 4, cause লিখতে হবে, effect, all stood amazed. Activity 7. Answer the following questions in complete sentences. A. What attracted the attention of the people when Reep entered the village? B. What did Reep learn about Nicola's weather? C. Who looked exactly like Reep's previous self? D. How long did 20 years seem to Reep? Activity 8. Fill in the blanks with appropriate verbs from those given in brackets. Number 1. 100 rupees dash too much for this item. Within bracket is oblique R. Number 2. The accountant and the cashier dash absconded. In bracket has oblique have. Number 3. Time and tide dash. Within bracket wait oblique waits for none. Number 4. Either he or I dash mistaken. Within bracket is oblique am. Number 5. The ship with its crew dash delayed. Within bracket was dash where. Activity 9A. Make meaningful sentences of your own with the following words: hollow, fearful, ruins, gaze. Activity 9B. Identify the types of sentences given below. Number 1. Reep's sole follower was the dog Wolf. Number 2. What was to be done? Number 3. All was silence. Number 4. Sure enough, it's Van Winkle. Page 121. Let's talk. There is a mythical character called Kumbhakarna who used to sleep for 6 months and keep awake for 6 months. Suppose you are trying to wake up Kumbhakarna, full stop. Tell the class how you would do this. Let's do. Activity 10A. Write a short story in about 60 words using the hints given below. Full stop. Add a title to it. Hints. You went on a tour with your friends. Dash. Stayed the night in a house inside a forest. Dash. Slept in separate rooms. Dash. When you woke up, your friends were all gone. Dash. Your feelings. Dash. How you return home. Activity 10B. Imagine that you have a very lazy brother who is always late in getting up from sleep. Write an imaginary conversation between you and your brother on the usefulness of early rising. Let's walk together. Take 9 empty water bottles. Arrange them in a triangle on a flat ground. From a distance, take a ball and roll it towards the empty bottles. If you succeed in dropping all bottles at one go, you score a full point. Otherwise, you lose a point. Now go and play this game of 9 pins. Share your experience with your friends.